First
Hey
of all,
guys.
thank you so
Hi
much
Scott.
for coming on here.
You're
It's
very
fabulous
welcome.
having you. Um,
Thank you for the invite.
no, look, you deserve it. Okay, you're the best in the world, and that's what Mendy wants, and that's what Mendy
I
gets,
appreciate it.
obviously.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah. So there's a lot. I mean, there's so much to talk about. Let's talk about like you grew up in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start there. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about Helle. She grew up. I know you were a gymnast when you were 3 years old, and let's kind of go into it a
Yeah,
little bit.
well, I was always into sports. My parents were pretty strict. My dad was in the military, so the only thing that was allowed was sports.
Right.
So I did sports all the time. So
Yeah.
every day of the week, I had something. Uh, I was on the swimming team. Was on the track team. I started gymnastics already when I was 3. I did ballroom dancing. I had my own horse from I was 10 to I was 20 years old.
Wow.
I was into horse riding, martial arts, all kinds of stuff. And
Okay.
then I started training when I was around 16, 17.
Let's talk about that. What got you into weightlifting in general?
Um, I just wanted to try it. My dad used to work out when I was a little younger. He just had a bad back. Nothing. We don't have any bodybuilders in the family, but
Right.
I just I remember I thought it was always interesting. I was like maybe 10 years old, and he was packing his gym bag, and I was like, Dad, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to like work these machines, and he explained how he's gonna pull and weights and all kind of
Yeah.
like I imagined like some kind of spaceship,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
kids
Totally. Totally.
like imagination is.
Sure,
So
sure.
I thought I wanted to do that one day, and I was always like too young to go and had to wait, and then
Yeah.
finally at some point I was like, I want to try this fitness, I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
try
yeah.
and see how it is. So I just joined something that I thought was fun to do, and it was right at the age, like where kind of boys were interesting and you want to look good and all that. So
Yeah. Makes sense.
yeah, so I started working out, and I thought it was super fun, and it's something you can do on your own time. You don't have to
Right.
be somewhere at a set time. You can
Kind of run
figure
your
out.
own
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah, and I like that. To
Yeah.
be able to plan that around my school and all that.
So the team thing wasn't as fascinating as you doing your own solo thing.
Well, I always was in like kind of solo things because swimming and horse
Right.
riding, gymnastic you had to coordinate with others. Martial arts, a lot of it was still like single performance things.
Right.
I was never really so much into like soccer and football and basketball and all that.
Well, look at it like this. Nobody else can mess it up for you. You know what I
You
mean?
know what? That was the thing. It always annoyed me because, of course, we had gym class at school, and
Yeah.
I was always annoyed, like when we were on a team, and like there are some people that really want to put the work in, and then there's some people that are just there to laugh and have fun, and
Right.
they don't really care about
Right,
it.
right, right. They don't give a shit.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, hey, I, I never like to lose.
Right.
I like to be on the winning team, and when I'm my own team, I can decide. I can put as much into it, and I can put all of it into it,
No, I
and
get it.
make the chance of winning kind of a
Yeah.
lot bigger.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know what? When you got to rely on yourself, I mean, obviously, I'm into the solo thing too. I break a world record and I don't got to talk about anybody else. It's like, look, it's me. I'm doing it. I'm winning.
yep,
Give me my check. I
yep,
get it. I
yep.
get it. I'm 100%
You
with you.
lifted the weights.
Yeah,
You put the work
exactly.
in. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm falling in love right now already. So you grew up on a farm.
Yeah. I
So
did.
tell me a little bit about that. Was it like a farm where they raised animals for food or milk or I mean what was it?
Actually, it was more like an organic farm. It was kind of like just very small and very organic, where the pigs were running outside and the cows were running outside, and chicken and ducks, they were outside. Everything was very organic. So it
That's
was kind of
cool.
like very small and very
Was it like
organic.
vegetables also or
Yeah, it was vegetables, eggs, meat.
and
My
that was like what you guys made money off of back then as well.
Yeah, parts of it. My mom had a store in the city, and then my mom's boyfriend, he was a butcher, so he ran a lot of it. They did catering on the weekends.
Oh,
They
that's
had like
cool.
their sausage truck tour, so they would have like a little van, and they would drive around on a route, and it would be like ding ding ding, and they would have like
Everybody would run
sausages
out.
and
Yeah.
steaks and stuff they
Oh,
sold.
that's awesome.
So
All right.
yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yep.
So, your schooling, you're college educated, obviously.
Hmm.
Tell what school did you go to? What was your thing?
Well, my dad, he had this plans for me that he wanted me to become a lawyer. So that was kind of like the route I was going. And I studied languages in college, so I majored in German and English. So
Well, you speak it well.
thank you.
At
I
least the
appreciate
English part.
it.
I couldn't tell you the
Well,
German,
I,
but
I studied many years, and then also, of course, now I've been in the States for 8 years,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that helps to just speak the language all the time.
yeah.
Now I'm starting to struggle with Danish when I
Yeah,
talk.
right.
Once in a blue moon, I talk to a friend back home, and I'm like, uh, you know that word, and I
Yeah.
say it in English, and they're like, oh yeah,
Well, you know what they say, if you don't use it, you lose it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's a true
So,
fact, you
well, I'm
know?
never gonna lose it, but it's just when you're used to speaking every day, and then suddenly
You're
you're
not.
like, oh, what was it?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I get it.
Embarrassing, but
I don't know. I do
so,
that with English, and I speak it every day. So I don't know. I bench 1,000 pounds, and I'm like, what is my middle name again? What was that? You know what I mean?
I only do that on diet.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
carbs go really low, everything is like,
Yeah.
uh,
No, I remember that. That's one of the reasons why I don't bodybuild.
right?
The fade out factor.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I'm a closet. I'm not closet case. Everybody knows I love bodybuilding. I'm training at Golds five
Yeah.
6 days a week. So obviously I know I'm a power
You're
lifter, but
always there.
I'm not like the regular power lifters.
You're
I'm a
not.
bodybuilder that turned into a power lifter. But I did some shows back in the day, and let me tell you
I
something.
didn't even know that.
Yeah,
You did
yeah.
shows.
There were politics, and I'll tell you at another time. It's not something I want to get into on the air. But I that was one of the hardest things I ever did in my life was bodybuilding. The dieting was, I mean, I liked the dieting, and I liked the fact, even though I suffered waking up in the morning every day and seeing changes in your body, that got me going, and I was cool with that. But I'll tell you, the posing was the hardest part. I mean, doing my whole workout. I mean, you're a world champion, but me personally, going through my whole thing, dieted down, and then after my workout, having to pose for an hour,
Mm,
that was literal hell.
right.
So I have all the respect in the world
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank
Okay,
you. And
that
I
is.
have all the respect in the world for you
Thank you.
lifting thousands of pounds.
Yeah, well, that's the. You know what? I have too big of a waist to be a bodybuilder, and we all have our gifts. You know what I mean? And lifting weight is my gift. So,
Yes, yes, it
but
is.
let's talk
What is it?
about.
You won 5 times?
I'm a 5-time world champion.
Isn't that crazy? Like, wow.
Yeah, I have 65 world
We
records
got so we have 7 world champion titles
between us.
between us.
That's right. I've won the
Well,
Arnold as
I'm
well.
behind. I gotta win a couple more.
No, no. Hey, look. I'm a little older. You know what I mean? So,
So you mean I have time
you
still?
have time,
Yeah, yeah,
baby,
yeah.
and
Well,
I'm gonna
yeah.
be there with you the whole way. I support Hella, and you know, knowing what she's done. And by the way, she just got her picture up at Venice Golds, which is an incredible picture. And I was talking to her, and she goes, come here, you got to see this." And I was like, "Oh," you know what I mean? So it's something
It was epic. Like I was really proud.
to
It's
be on that wall.
this was actually something that I've been dreaming of, like maybe since I was like 20 years old.
Yeah,
Back in the day, back in Denmark when I got started, I got started, as we spoke about, like around 16, 17, and it was a cool gym. Actually, it was a powerlifting gym, but they
okay,
had a lot of posters all around, like Goals has, of all the legends and all the
yeah,
bodybuilders, and
yeah,
they had like some time looking through it and
Sure,
getting
sure.
my shake and trying to be a bodybuilder, you know.
Thinking I'm going to America soon. I know.
Well, I think at that time it's still like the dream was so big. Like I was looking at pictures of
Yeah.
like Linda Murray, Kim Chisovsky, and I was like, wow, like
Linda was a
I was
beast.
just like, I wish, but I'll just never get that big. Like, but I hope I could, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just, you know, you just work one day at a time, and you're like, you know, the first goal was like just to do a competition, you
Yeah.
know, just to try it out. And I mean, I didn't even know like if I had the genetics. I mean, I thought I maybe did because people were like kind of starting to ask me like, are you gonna do a show?
Yeah.
And you know, like I responded pretty quickly. I mean, I already had an athletic body from all the sports I've been
Sure.
doing, but the weights, I responded pretty quickly. Like I
Yeah.
could see like from other girls that was in the gym, like I just surpassed them like
Right.
in a short time.
Right.
And I was pretty strong. I mean, already like I think after a year I was squatting like 100 kilos.
You
What was
said
that
I,
like?
I read that you gained 70 pounds of what was it? Oh, 30 pounds in a year
I
of
gained
muscle.
I gained a lot. I mean, I will say I got a little fat also.
Well, that's okay. You got to do that in the
You know,
beginning.
but it was crazy. Like, you know, it's like we didn't really have any knowledge, so you would read in the magazines, and like when I went to school,
Yeah.
I would have we didn't I don't even think we had shaker bottles. Like this was like in the beginning of the
Yeah, yeah,
90s.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I brought like one of the big like soda bottles
Yeah.
and filled it with protein shake.
Sure.
And then I had a big box like this of a big Tupperware just with pasta, only pasta, nothing else.
Right.
And then I would have another one with tuna, and then I would have another one with like frozen vegetables.
Right.
And I would go and eat that all day.
I did the same thing. I did. I did. That was
So
the way to
I
do
ate
it.
so many carbs. I mean, I don't know how I got away with it. I mean, obviously I got a little fat also, but you know,
Yeah, but remember the
it was
fat.
like a
The,
thick good.
right, but remember the fat feeds the muscle.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of that to make your base is not a bad thing.
You know, you can't just really you can't just diet and build a lot of muscle.
Right.
You have to put on a little weight. And I'm often asked also like how I feel about off season and
Right.
stuff. You know, I love to be shredded and I love to be in shape and I love to see that those changes when you diet, and sometimes you can almost see daily changes like, oh, there's some new striations,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
like,
for
oh, my
sure.
abs are looking nice today. You know, it's very gratifying.
100%.
But I also like off season where you're a little rounder and a little fuller and you know a little bit more curvy. You know, I think that's nice also. You know.
Well, being human feels good when you're not being human, getting ready to be almost machine-like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There has to be a balance,
Yeah.
and I think really like the key to a long career is that you have that balance. I believe the athlete that goes 80% all the time will always surpass the athletes that goes 100% all
Yeah.
the time
Well, they burn
because
out.
they will burn out.
Yeah,
Exactly, they
yeah.
will burn out. Where it's like, I mean, I've been doing this for so many years now, and I'm like, I still feel fresh. I still feel like I can win a lot of shows.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, my body is great. Like after every show, I take 2 months off. I
Well,
don't train.
apparently-
I eat what I want and I don't work out.
Apparently, you can win a few shows.
So, I plan on it. You know, I have no plans of any retirement or anything. So,
You know what? Let me tell you
they
something.
gotta deal
you
with
go.
me
You
for
go.
some years more.
You go until you know you're ready
Yeah.
to go. Bye bye. And
Yeah.
but you know what? You got a lot of years left. You've proven that you're the best of the best, and it's undeniable. Helle Trevino is here to stay. So
Here to stay.
let's talk about. I mean, I know that they yanked women's bodybuilding a few years back. Um, and it was a mind blowing thing for a lot of the female bodybuilders. In the Generation Iron when Gladys was getting ready to compete,
I
and
was Kyle, right?
oh really?
Yeah.
So you tell us about that, because to me, when I watched that, that was sad.
Yeah.
You know, a
Yeah.
10-time world champion couldn't get into a regular bodybuilding
Well,
show.
it was all of us, like from one day to another, we heard that the Olympia was basically canceled for our division. It was a really sad and devastating time because here's something that you trained for
Your whole life.
for your whole life to do. It's like they say, oh, you can't do the Wimbledon or the Tour de France anymore. It's like,
The fuck do you do? Yeah.
yeah, it's you really gotta think, and what I think what they were trying to do was they wanted to do it, make it the sport more mainstream for more people to enter.
Yeah.
Bikini had just come into the sport
Right.
as a division, which was more like a model look with very little muscle, just
And more women could do it, which means they were making more money.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can easily have 100 girls in that division where you will never see 100 female
Yeah.
bodybuilders
And they were
in a class.
charging like $400 per female
And
to do the figure stuff.
I understand that. Of course, you gotta find a balance. The promoters gotta make
Yeah.
money.
No, I get it.
Everybody
I
gotta
get it.
make money so that there will be a show. If they're not making money, they can't put on a show.
100%.
So they had added bikini, they had added the men's physique. I mean, now we are talking, you know, some years back, like maybe
7, 8 years
say
ago.
7, 8 years,
Yeah.
and they added also women's physique, which was more like
Swimsuit,
um,
kind of.
no, women's physique was more gonna be like a lightweight
Right,
bodybuilding,
right.
like so that the transition from figure to bodybuilding wasn't like a big gap, so it
Right.
was a little bigger, like a bigger figure girl.
Sure.
Um, and then they took the female bodybuilding out, which I think was a huge mistake, and I think they realized that because I think it's great they're adding some categories where people can get into it early. Like
Yeah.
for the bikini, you can be 20 years old and you can compete. I remember even when I started, I couldn't just compete after the first year because bodybuilding takes years
Takes
to
years
build,
of development.
and that can be discouraging.
Yeah.
I mean, when people ask me how many years I've trained, and I say, oh, 20 plus years,
Yeah, they're like,
it's
what?
like, it's already discouraging, because then they're thinking, how can I obtain that, But of course,
Yeah.
I started somewhere. I mean, now I'm the best in the world. It takes a long time to get to there, but I think it's great that if we have some categories where a lot of people can actually compete
Yeah.
and compete young, we get them interested in the sport
Yeah.
early. Some of those girls are going to keep training and they're going to transition into figure, physique, bodybuilding. So that's the way we grow the sport.
Yeah.
The only thing that was sad about it was they took they took the you could say the most like impressive category would be bodybuilding,
Yeah,
men and women. I
absolutely.
mean, that's like the Formula One cars.
Right.
It's like the drag race
They took the
cars.
big leagues out. Yeah.
Yeah, and you couldn't. I mean, even that would be equivalent to say we're gonna take heavyweight boxing out.
Yeah.
And have everything else. Like
Yeah.
it's just. You can't do that,
No,
There
it was
a lot of
bullshit.
there was a lot of fans that were really disappointed. We were really disappointed. So there was a company called Wings of Strength
Uh-huh.
that said, you know what, we don't like this bullshit.
Yeah.
We gotta take it over,
And that's
we're
Jake
not
Wood,
gonna
right?
just take it over. We're gonna make it better. We're gonna do it
Yeah.
better. So they started putting on shows instead of the Olympia. They made their own Olympia called Rising Phoenix World Championships,
Right.
which is the one I won twice now.
Right.
And
And that's Jake Wood, right?
Jake Wood,
Okay.
yes.
Jake, we love you, brother. Thanks
we
for
love
everything that you've done.
you. Jake Wood
You're
and
the
his
man.
incredible team. They.
I'd like to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's done so much. He's done more for the sport than anyone else has. I think they probably have, I don't know, 10, 12 shows now, both in Romania and Prague and, all over the United States.
So you got places
and,
to go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they're incredible because actually they do these ambassador programs where they they invite some of the athletes. You know, you can apply for being ambassador, and then we get invited to different shows to just promote, work the booth, sell merchandise, say hello to the fans and all that. So we get around. Like, their whole idea is like marketing, get the product to be seen,
Sure.
and we are the product.
Sure.
So it couldn't be better. They make it's like in the old days where we had guest postings. There was so many years where we were like not having any guest postings.
Yeah.
Now Wings of Strength is sending us to guest postings, you know, around the world, and
So they've reignited
so
the whole sport.
they reignited the sport, and it's more popular than ever.
That's
It's
great.
incredible. I see new girls on Instagram every day. I'm like, where did she come from? Where did she come from?
Yeah.
It's like become trendy again to
Yeah.
have muscles,
Good.
even for
Good.
women.
Hey, you know what? I think that everybody should have their place, you know. And then we talked about gender equality we were talking about, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about all that?
I think we are on our way. I think as the world is now, I think it's more than ever geared towards individuality. That we all want to be unique. We all are allowed to have our own individuality. With that being said, I still think there are some stigmas and there are still some prejudice around women with muscle.
Yeah.
There's a very big group that thinks it's awesome and all that, but there are still also people that are like, oh, you know, we think it's manly. Like, do you want to be a guy? You know, I get these things on social media, so I know kind of
for sure.
like what the thoughts are, and I'm like, you know, I really want to be a woman, but I love muscles, and I think that there should be more openness and just more like tolerance for what the individual wants to do with their life. You know,
Yeah, no,
I don't
absolutely.
really like this whole like, oh, I'm not gonna judge you because you want to look that way or you want to be that way. I'm like, yo, we all got one life that we know of, and you know, you focus on your life, make the best of it, make you happy, and I'm gonna do the same. And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
like leave
accept,
me alone.
yeah,
You do you, let me do
yeah,
me.
you
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's just, yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Sometimes I'm thinking when I get these like comments on Instagram, like, oh, you look like a dude, and you know, why you want to ruin your body like that. I'm just kind of like, why do you feel like compelled to write that on my page? Like, you're on my page, my profile. Go somewhere else.
Can I
You
can
know?
can I decode that for you? She's saying go fuck off.
Exactly.
That's the short version. Go fuck yourself, and that's that.
But
So
just to clear it up, I love being a woman. I love looking unique. I love my muscles. I think muscles are beautiful, whether it's on a man or woman. I just think they're beautiful. And that's the story, really. You know, like, I'm not trying to be a guy or anything. And also, like, um, I think it's so antiquated to think that muscles only belong to guys. I mean,
that's
then
bullshit.
it's like, it's also, I feel bad for the guys, because what about guys who don't work out,
Yeah.
who's maybe skinny? So what are they, women? I mean, come on, it's stupid, you know.
No, I 100% understand.
It kind of puts us back to, like, you know, did you know in the 50s it was actually by law, it was forbidden for women to wear pants. By law, it was forbidden.
Where's that at? In Denmark?
No, in the world. You
Really?
can look it up, Google it, Wikipedia. It was
Really?
forbidden. Yeah. But you would like get arrested if you wore pants. They saw it as like rebellious. So I guess in 2020 I'm rebellious. But you know, I just feel like, you know, that there should be I hope we are moving more towards time. I feel like we are.
No, I think
The
we are.
times where, you know, we will permit each other to have our own individuality and pursue, you know, whatever dreams or whatever desires we have in life. I think we'll create a happier world that way.
Oh, by the way, my sister, Shawna Mendelssohn, I don't know if you know who she is. She's in New York. She's a 3-time world champion. It's a family thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but she told me to tell you hello. She loves everything that you do.
That's awesome.
Shauna, there's your shout out, okay?
Shawna,
But
you're awesome. Keep
she's
doing
got a
what you're
gym.
doing.
She's got a gym in New York called Blue Collar Barbell. She recently in training squatted 870 at 170-pound body weight.
Wow.
Yeah, she benches over 500. She's a
I gotta
beast.
follow her.
She's a beast. So
I gotta follow her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
for
follow
sure.
you, Shawna.
Yeah. I think you guys will hit it off great.
That's
so.
pretty cool. You both have your own gym.
Yeah.
You're both world record holder. I mean, dang.
Yeah, it's a family thing. My ex-wife.
Now I know where to train.
You
when
know
I
what I
visit
mean?
New York.
Oh, you know what? That's right. And out here, we're gonna. I don't know. I think maybe she should try out a few powerlifting motions.
Why not?
And she did ask me about it. She did ask me about it. So
Yeah.
we got some videos
He
and
got
stuff
some
coming
cool
up.
equipment out there. I was like, what is this? But for me, it's like a playground. When I come to a new gym, I'm like, oh, I want to try it. He had me actually try some things.
Yeah, I had her on the belt squat. So
Yeah, I like that one.
we have a West Side belt squat. We're the only one in California that has a real West Side.
I might come and try that one.
No,
from time to
totally.
time.
Look,
Just
we're going to do some
squats out
filming
there.
together. And I'd like to come and, you know what?
We should film a workout together.
We will.
Right?
100%.
What do you think, guys? Comment below if you want to see us do a workout together.
Absolutely. Please comment because I want to work out with this incredible woman.
2 world champions working out together. That'll be fun. You're going to push me on the weights.
Hey, and you know what? I love bodybuilding, so you push me into bodybuilding.
Yeah, I'll push you on the technique, slow
absolutely.
reps, not too fast.
I'm in 100%, So what made you want to move to California? And it was in 2012, right?
Yeah, 2012 in the fall. I really I felt like I had to be in the right environment. I think it's no different than a cyclist wanting to move to Italy to be in the right cyclist club with the peers and in the right environment.
Sure.
So I was the only pro in Denmark, and there was no women on my level. And that wasn't even at the time any pro guys. I was the only pro in the entire country.
Yeah.
And I wanted to develop. I wanted to be my best. And I felt like to be my best, I had to be somewhere like somewhere motivating. I had to be somewhere where I could work with the best trainers and coaches in the world. Like just gain more knowledge. Like back home it was like people asked me for advice.
Yeah, you were the main one.
I was the one training people. Like, who was I going to ask? How was I going to develop?
Yeah.
So it was basically like I knew I had more to pull out of me, but I needed people that could pull it out. I needed knowledge, I needed trainers. I wanted to be closer to the shows.
Yeah.
Because when you travel from Europe, say from Denmark to LA, is 9 hours time difference. Say I travel in the winter, it could maybe be like 30, 40 degrees, like a difference on the weather.
And the time difference and all that takes a big factor into everything.
Yeah,
I find that also when I compete.
Temperatures, the jet lag, getting used to the times.
It's a nightmare.
Could be humidity,
everything takes a part.
And then when your body is so sensitive, right up to leading to a show, you're 3% body fat, you're dehydrated and all that. It's like
flying when you're like that is a nightmare. Huh?
Flying is always retains water. We all know that. You feel you take your shoes off and you don't fit your shoes afterwards.
Yeah.
So
no, I know it's a nightmare.
I felt like I always had a disadvantage, and it was very expensive because if I had to come in early to kind of like adjust to everything, I had to fly in 2 weeks before. Try and pull off 2 weeks at a hotel, and plus the flight and whatever money you need there, and then on top of the tanning and the suits and the hair and the makeup and whatever, everything's expensive.
Yeah.
So I felt like it would be better if I was closer.
So was it hard to move here? Was it difficult for you?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I was very motivated and I really wanted to move. But of course, it's, I had a really good job
Yeah.
through 15 years. I was a caretaker for disabled,
Okay.
and I was with the same guy for 15 years. And,
You
we
had a
were really good.
relationship.
We got a really close relationship, and we were really great friends. And
Yeah.
he supported me. He's like been one of my greatest supporters,
That's
along with my
awesome.
mom,
That's
through my
awesome.
career. And he just, he let me go work out every day. He would sometimes even like I would like go power walking outside, and he had a motorized wheelchair with a joystick, so he would like.
He would
So
follow
he
you.
would go with me, just to make sure I got my cardio done when I was prepping
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff, and so he was really awesome. And I had my family,
Good.
my mom and my sisters, friends.
Yeah.
It's like when you move, you start all over again.
Sure,
It's
sure.
like,
It's
when you're
scary.
18 and you just stand there with your suitcase and you got to start a life on your own,
You're like, holy
So
shit.
it was
Yeah.
the same thing. You
Yeah.
have nothing, I
Yeah.
sold all my furniture and everything. I came with 2 suitcases of clothes and stuff, and that was it. Just had to like make a new life for myself. Didn't have a visa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't have a job.
Yeah.
I just took the chance. Got here on my tourist visa, and just
Started working the system.
started. Got myself a lawyer and starting working on a visa,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
went up and down the street and asked if I could get a job. I got
Yeah.
a job at a supplement store for $10 an hour.
Yeah.
So you just gotta start somewhere.
Are you hungry?
Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm always
You know what?
hungry.
We got sushi.
You know, it's all
guys,
season.
bring the sushi over here.
Bring the food.
We got some sushi.
Oh my God,
We're
my favorite.
eating. We're eating. I'm just, I didn't really know what you liked, so I just did a little of this and a little of that.
I like it all.
Well, let's eat it all.
Yeah, let's eat it all. It looks awesome.
Oh man, I'm not
my
playing
God.
around here. I'm just letting you know.
This is good stuff.
You guys
You're
know.
making the guys jealous out there with all this food.
I know. I got some extra for them, so they're all good. But during the podium, health and food and that kind of thing, I try to promote. And I think that a lot of people don't eat right, and
It's the hardest thing, really.
No, it
You know?
is.
Got
It
it.
is, but at the same point, the importance of nutrition is vital. And tonight, yeah, we're eating a little shitty, but you know what? We usually don't. I eat pretty much pre-contest all year long. I'm about 315 pounds right now. And
I hit my all-time max today.
your highest weight ever?
The highest weight ever in my entire
What are you
life.
weighing?
Well, my goal has been this off-season to hit 210. And today I hit 209.2. So I'm 0.8 pounds away from my goal weight.
Let's give her a hand, guys. That's what I'm saying.
And I still have another month before the diet starts, so
You got time.
I got time to get the 0.8.
Yeah. She eats with
Maybe
chopsticks.
tomorrow after this piece, I'll be 210.
Honey, I'll buy you another meal tomorrow to help you.
Thank you. You're a good friend. You're a good friend. I love you already.
So, the Olympia is back in place. Mm-hmm. You haven't done an actual Olympia yet, have you?
I know.
You have. Okay, tell us about it.
I don't even remember. I think I've been in 3.
Okay.
But then the last Olympia was 2014, and then I've been doing the Rising Phoenix World Championships every year since. So we got some really incredible news this year that the Olympia will have women's bodybuilding back in the show.
All right.
About time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, I want to do both. That's been another dream of mine.
Win everything in 1 year.
So, I want to, I'm right now cashing in on the dream. So, I got the photo already at Goals.
Right.
I got 2 Rising Phoenix titles.
Uh-huh.
But another dream of mine is to win the Olympia. but then I didn't really have the chance. Like I did 3, but it was like,
You weren't you back then yet.
well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it was in the beginning of my career, and I wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
The first, my first pro show was in 2003. It was the Jantana Pro Classic.
Okay.
I won that one, qualified for Olympia the same year, and was 5th.
All right.
Then I got a really bad back injury in 2004, and basically the doctor said my career was over. So I ruined some discs in my back, herniated some discs, and it was game over, and I was out for 8 years. So, but then, I'm like very defiant. So I didn't really want to take no for an answer. I didn't want to listen to the doctors. I was like, you know what, there's other people that had herniated
They don't know what the
discs
hell they're talking about with a
Yeah.
woman with drive.
and you can always train around things, like, yeah, it's hard for me to do really heavy deadlifts, but do you really need it? I mean,
You don't
yeah,
need it
for
anymore.
powerlifting, do you do? But for
Right.
bodybuilding, no.
No.
So there's a few things where I can do them, but I can't really go super heavy. And it hasn't, it hasn't really made any impact at all on my physique. That there's a few exercises I don't do, I do very light.
Yeah.
So
Placement in an exercise is everything.
yeah,
So you could take a lightweight and you can exaggerate it and make it feel heavy.
yeah. Just
My
go
sound
like
guy-
super slow.
My sound guy, Matt, he's on my powerlifting team. And I had him benching one plate for like 2 months to learn the technique.
Wow.
And he would get up, and you'll see when I show you, drenched, sweaty, back killing him, legs shot off one wheel. And it's humbling, especially, he's not a small guy. He's a 250-pound guy.
Right.
He can bench press 500 pounds with a normal form
Yeah.
as a bodybuilder. But learning the form, every time you learn something new, your progress goes like that before
Yeah.
it goes like that.
Yeah.
And it's humbling, but you know what? You can definitely take a lightweight and you can get massive results exaggerating it and putting it and making, like if you squat and you take 225 and you exaggerate it and make it feel like 500 pounds, you're going to get a massive build like you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I totally understand what you're saying. And a back problem, I got 9mm herniations in my lower back.
Okay.
I have sciatic.
know
I
about
can't
it.
walk half the time. I get out of bed. I'm like looking at the shower, going, "All right, I can make it there."
Right.
And once the hot water hits me, I'm cool.
Yeah.
And they told me it would never happen again. So, the bottom line is that put it on airplane mode, please. The bottom line is that every doctor's going to tell you that you can't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Especially when they know you're into professional sports, they're like, it's over. What really?
What does that mean to you? Over.
It-
What?
For me, it means
Work harder?
fuel. It's like, oh, you said that? Okay, cool. Thanks a lot.
I was like, wait, what does
And
that mean?
That's another thing. That's another thing that also I'll say that's really important. Like, I'll actually say now we talked about food and we talked about training and stuff, and something that's the most important thing is mindset.
100%.
And also, like, every athlete has to hear through the career a lot of shit. There's gonna be people that believe in you. There's gonna be people that don't believe in you. There's gonna be people that say you don't have the genetics.
Right.
You don't have what it takes. You're never gonna do blah blah blah. If you have the ability to use negativity as a drive and as a fuel, and if you have the ability to use positivity not as something I can now lean back and be complacent, but use it as a fuel also.
driving factor.
The way I see it as a drive is if somebody believe in me, I want to rise to the occasion. I want to prove that they're not wrong in believing in me.
Right.
I feel like if they believe in me, I feel like this is something I have to carry. You know, they respect me and
Right.
believe in me, and I have to live up to that.
Right.
And if they don't believe in me, I'm like, great, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
So that's like a huge plus if you can do that.
Right.
Because I've seen a lot of people really get down on, especially also now we're having so much social media with, you know, Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and Snapchat and, you know, and there will be, you know, people are very blunt when they sit behind their computers or their phone.
They're
and
brave,
nobody
aren't
knows
they?
them.
Aren't they brave?
And then when you look them up, they have no profile picture. Maybe that profile is private, you know, and they sit and talk all this shit, you know.
Yeah.
And you can't let that get to you, no matter who it is. If it's somebody you meet at the gym or it's somebody online, whatever they say, it's like, I'm like, it's none of my business, you know. I don't know you.
Oh,
I don't
I got
care.
guys that offer
You know?
to fight me.
Really?
Oh my God, you don't even know. These guys are like, you want to meet me? You want to get down?
What?
I'm like, really? I'm like, really, dude?
People are weird.
I'm like, no, I don't want to fight you, bro. I don't know if he's like a world champion fighter that's gonna kill me or some
Right.
6-year-old. I don't know who it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you kill him, you can go to jail for that.
Dude, I'm not getting involved. You know what I mean? I'm not a tough guy. I'm just a guy. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you know that's the bottom line. But it's crazy how the attitudes on these people.
I know, right?
You know, I
Yep.
mean, you know, I get guys that are like, "Oh, you fat piece of shit." I'm like, bro, I got abs. You know, I may look fat if I have a t-shirt or a sweatshirt on because look at my fat face, but I got abs. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just, you know,
Yeah.
everybody's got an attitude behind that keyboard.
It is what it is, you know. I just want to, like, if I should give any good advice to any people out there, you know, just you know, you don't know them, don't give a fuck, you know.
Right.
I don't, so why should you?
Right, exactly.
But anyway, you know, the Olympia is coming up in September.
I have a
it's,
good feeling about you, babe.
Well, I've been working hard this off season, so we will see. Hopefully, it will pay off. The Rising Phoenix World Championships will be back.
When is that?
That's the 5th of September. Olympia is just 1 week later, the 11th and 12th of September. That
Yeah,
weekend
but you
is
know
the
what?
Olympia
That's
weekend.
perfect for you. You know how you do a show, and a week later you're harder and gnarlier than you ever were
Yeah.
in the one before? That's
I've
perfect.
done it once before, and I was actually better at the second show.
You always are, you know?
Yeah. So we'll see. My body can handle it. Some people they don't like it. I like it. You know, it's also like
let me ask you a question. There's old school methods to where when they diet down for a show, they diet down and decarb and peak at the show. And then there's new style to where they diet down 2 weeks or 3 weeks out and then grow into the show. What do you do?
well, for me, it works best to really deplete hard, meaning like 0 carbs
Uh-huh.
for a good while.
Yeah.
It can be a month. It can be 6 weeks, depending on how I look like. A reason why I really like it's a week apart. Last year was hard because we did about a month out from the Tampa Pro in August. We did about a month of no carbs.
Right.
Then I did the Tampa, and
Uh-huh.
you know, thank God I won the Tampa. And then I was going to the Rising Phoenix. I think it was 5 weeks later. So we continued the no carbs. So it was, I think it was
That was
about,
tough, huh?
yeah, because, you know, it was 9-10 weeks. Yeah, about that of no carbs.
Uh-huh.
We did have some refeeds in between, but it's still like motherfucking death. You know? So,
Tell us like it is, baby.
but that's how I look the best. You know, everybody has a different body, and you know, I'm like, my muscle just sticks. You know, some
Yeah.
people go no carb for 3 days and they lose 30 pounds and they look like a stick. You
Yeah,
know,
because they don't have a good base
I can
like you.
go no carb for a month and I meet people in the gym and they say, "Oh, you look nice and full." I'm like,
You're
"Right?
like, what?
How can I look full?" But you know, I carry a lot of size, and I think you know that's what
Your
kind of.
muscle mass is incredible.
I've trained so many years, so I'm very thick. So I'm known for my density, um, and so you know,
And
I
I'll tell
think
you, during
that's
a show, that's what comes out. You
yeah,
get that hard density with that that blockiness, because you're not 20 anymore, so your muscle mass isn't round like a youngster. You know what I mean? It's solid and sinew and blocky and just insane. And that's like that.
well, also
It's like you
the
look at Ronnie Coleman when he was young, and then when he got older in his prime.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking
I think
about?
it's the detail, you know, that really makes the difference. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, the muscle gets thicker over time, but also the detail gets deeper.
Yeah, it does.
You
It
know,
just gets more developed and mature.
yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does. So, and that was what when I did the Olympia, you know, when it was on, I wasn't
You weren't there yet.
there. You know, I was
Yeah.
still just beginning, and I made my
She was
comeback.
still a baby.
Yeah. Then I made my comeback after the injury in 2011, so I didn't compete between 2003 and 2011. And but I think actually, I think that prolonged my career in some
I
way
think it
because
did. Yeah.
it I really came back
You
fresh.
refreshed.
You know,
Yeah. You weren't
from
burned
yeah,
out.
I came back fresh and just started there,
Yeah.
and I've competed every year since 2011, and then finally in 17, I won the first Rising Phoenix, and I feel like now I have the best body ever. Like I'm on the top of my career
Yeah.
right now, and I still think I have a great deal of years that I could win. I feel like I'm constantly improving. This off season has been really, um, really good. Also,
I watched you training in gold.
the thing is also this is the first off season that I'm having in 3 years
Wow.
because I had breast implant surgery in 2016 and it went wrong, and I had it in Sweden, so I had to go back in 2017 and have another done, and it didn't go right again.
Wow, you had
So
breast surgery? They
yeah,
look so natural.
yeah, right.
Look at that. Wow. Do that
So
again for me. That was awesome. Look at
well,
that.
I have
That's muscle
I have
control.
my implants under the muscle.
They're under the muscle,
So
yeah.
that's why it's muscle on top.
Yeah, but
so
you want to know something? That's the best.
Yeah, I feel like too.
Yeah.
Like I don't
And they
really
stay
like.
full. They don't like
Yeah,
that.
it doesn't hang in the skin, and also
Yeah.
like I don't get like the cups
Yeah.
like you see the implant under
Yeah,
the
yeah,
skin.
yeah, yeah. Ladies
So
and gentlemen, I happen to be a breast specialist.
we can
So,
hear that.
you know what I mean? I deal with so many clients that have it. I have a plastic surgeon I train. I mean, like,
So,
I know a lot
but
about
yeah,
it.
it's good to talk about, because I have a lot of women actually asking me about
Yeah.
that, like with the implants and over or under the muscle. I had both. I like it better under the muscle. I know I
Well, you
said,
know what? Like you said, you don't see the line. You don't
yeah.
see, you know
And
what I
even
mean?
though you have a lot of pec muscle, you can still do it. That's kind of like the myth that if you have a lot of breast muscle, like you can't really do it. And don't be scared that it kind of went wrong for me. It was more like, I'm a perfectionist, and then it was like, then the size wasn't quite fitting, and then they were too
So
wide, and
so it didn't really go wrong. It wasn't right for you.
I would say, I mean, that was one of them. It was kind of like, when I did this, one breast was going up and the other one was going to the side. I will say that was maybe a little wrong because it was very
Yeah.
distracting to look at when I was doing bench press and they were going each their way. So,
All right, so it went way wrong. Okay.
so that one went wrong. Then there was one where I was like, no,
Understood.
it's not quite my size,
Yeah.
But anyways, I had it redone.
Well, they look
So I had
fantastic.
3 surgeries.
Yeah.
So the last 3 years, I couldn't have an off season because then it's like, you can't train for a couple of months. Then you have to train yourself back up, and you
Right,
have to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
rehabilitate and all that.
Yeah.
So then after all that, the diet season started. So
Yeah.
so this year has been like a full off season where I could just no surgeries. I could just
And
focus on
grow and do what
growing,
you want to
building,
do.
eating, lifting heavy.
Good.
So I feel like, come September, it's gonna be like a new physique.
You
Like
know,
last year's physique was great, and I'm gonna bring something similar to that because that is, for me, the look.
right.
That's like the ultimate. That's how, in my opinion, my definition, that's how a female bodybuilding body should look like.
Sure.
In my definition, because of course, it's like we are all our own sculpture. It's like artwork that we are building, and this is the way I feel this sculpture is.
It's the best that it
It's,
could be.
it's the best that it could be.
Yeah.
Just feminine, but still like with muscle definitions. Nice lines, symmetry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Well, I tell you,
I
you
just
look
want it to
fantastic.
be a little bit bigger
Yeah, no, I
in
get
certain
it.
areas.
I understand the injury thing. I got in a car accident in 2013, and my seatbelt was on. I got hit by a truck so hard that it broke my seat. And I woke up. I was looking at the roof. I was like, "What the hell?" So I couldn't compete. I'm actually coming back. I'm competing next month on the 18th. It'll be my first comeback on the bench since 2013. I became a
Wow.
pro arm wrestler, and I've been arm wrestling in between because, when you got nothing but a right arm, what do? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it took me about 4 years to rehab it, and I'm breaking a shirt in now. I don't know if you saw my YouTube videos, but I'll probably be opening somewhere around 1,000 pounds for my opener lift.
Wow.
So I'm getting ready for that right
But
now.
it takes time with serious injuries. It was the same with my
Dude,
back
it,
injury.
it was a nightmare.
It,
It
it,
was my
it took
back and
time.
also my shoulder, so it was literal hell, and the insurance company for the guy that rear-ended me tried to railroad me on the case, and I was like, I can't sit around for 5 years not doing anything.
Yeah.
I'm not getting younger, so I walked away from the case, and I started competing again. Sometimes
So you let it go?
I let it go. I let it go. I walked away. It was $100,000 that I walked away from. But you know what? I could compete and make that. You know what I mean? So it's like at this point, it's kind of like, you know what? You could sit around and let your life go to waste,
Yeah.
or you can walk away and feel good about yourself, and that's what I did.
You'll make those back.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I did. But next month is, and I'm excited about it. It's kind of nerve wracking, and I'm coming back and doing that whole thing. But I'm really happy about getting back on the platform, and I've been getting a lot of good emails, and I love you guys. So keep it up because you're giving me that drive. Last couple of weeks, I've been dropping 1,000 pounds on myself, and I'm breaking the. It's geared, so I'm wearing the bench shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and just getting it all ready and stuff. So when you tell me about these injuries, I'm just like, oh my God, I live it with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got to move forward.
Yeah.
And that is a strong ass woman, mentally, physically, the drive, everything about this woman, I am just proud of. That's all I can say. So, I
Thank
mean,
you.
yeah, I mean, you are.
Well, I just feel like you can't you can't let life get you down, and you can't. I feel like you owe it to yourself if you have a dream, if you have a goal, to really do your best. There's a reason why you're dreaming about these things, and I feel like unfortunately a lot of people, they give up too easily. It's
Yeah.
like it's not you know it's not been easy for any of us. It's like, I mean, I'm also sometimes like, people say like, oh, but you're born with those genetics, like you're born like that. It's like,
They don't realize
yo,
how you kill yourself
I
every
kill
day.
myself every day to look like this, like I eat 6-7 meals a day. Like off season, I'm like, struggling to eat all my food, and when I diet, I'm like starving and wish there was more food. It's a constant work, and there's always going to be obstacles. Like no one's promised us it was going to be easy, but that's what really like defines us, and that's what like really shapes your character, that you're able to, you know, go through these things like that's called life, and you still walk forward. And even if you have to maybe stand still for a while or take two steps back, you're just gathering yourself to keep pushing again.
You're on that mission.
And yeah, you on that mission. I mean, also, last year was actually a really difficult year for me because my mom died just
Oh, I'm so sorry.
like a month before Champa Pro. And like my dad passed a lot of years ago in 98. So she was like all I got. And we were
I'm
really
sorry.
close.
I'm
And
sorry about that.
you know, it was really tough. You know, it's, you know, so like you live in another country, like I don't really have no family here or anything, you know. And you know, my mom would come visit me here. I would go home every year for 3 months to spend time with her. You know, she's been traveling with me everywhere to support me, like Australia. She was with me at the Olympia. She was with me in Germany when I won the FIBO, you
A
know.
great woman.
She's really, I mean, in many ways, it's her fault that I'm sitting here today and I won those titles, because there's been times early in my career. I remember there was one time where I told my mom, I said, you know, I think I want to quit. You know, I don't want to compete anymore. I think I just want to do something else with my life, while I still felt like there was time to maybe go to university or do something else. And I'm like, you know, I just think I want to quit now. And she was like, no.
No question about
Like,
it.
there was just no. I was like, but you know, I just don't want to be one of them bad pros, you know, like, you know, like they always finish last, and I waste my whole life on just no placing. That was kind of like, and that's what is like, that's what we gotta be careful of. Everybody has the fears, you know. Every one of us have the fears, and my fear was like being a bad pro and always placing last, and wasting my life on bodybuilding and having no career. And she was like, no, you're gonna continue, like, you know, because this is what I know you love to do, and now you came this far. It's like there was just no question about it. And I was like, okay, you know, like she
Well,
gave me a little pep talk, and I was like, all right, you know.
let me ask you a
And
question.
that was mom.
You think she was right now?
Mom is always right. You know, so yeah, you know, when she's always been my cliff, you know. And I mean, it was really, really, really tough. Like,
And you know she's watching you right now.
yeah, I feel like she's still here.
She's
I
here.
felt like when I won, I felt she was with me on stage. And
She's with
honestly,
you every second.
honestly, that's what kept me going. That I felt like, oh, she's probably here. She's probably watching. She's probably watching me, you know. And you know, I mean, honestly, I did give up. Like when she died, I was actually there, on camera, on WhatsApp, on video. My sister called me, and I said goodbye to my mom on the camera and stuff, and gave her permission to go. And it was just, it was so devastating. Like,
How'd she die, if you don't mind me asking?
she had dementia, and it was like at some point her body just collapsed.
It shut down, yeah. The
It's like
brain
the
stops
brain
working.
just stopped everything from working, and she just fell sick, and in a matter of a week she was gone.
Yeah, but you know she's in a better place now.
I know. That's what I tell myself also. I mean, it's the selfish part of me wanted to keep her.
No, I get it.
But
I get
I
it.
know, you know, she was deteriorating, and she was having dementia, and it was time for her. But you know, we just,
Yeah,
people
people
we
don't
love. We don't want to get let go of
people
them.
don't
You know?
understand with dementia. It's not just like they forget what they're saying, but when it gets to a point, the function of the brain to the
Yeah,
body shuts down.
yeah,
You
it
know,
does.
everybody's like, "Oh, I forgot his name."
Yeah,
We can all deal with that.
yeah, it's more to it than that. It's more to
Absolutely,
it.
absolutely.
So actually, I think I spent like 5 days in bed with takeout, and I was like,
You
I
needed that.
I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I just wanted to grieve.
Yeah.
And then my sister called, and I said, I'm not gonna compete. It's not gonna happen. I just didn't know how I could. It's mentally hard to be on top and on that kind of level. And I was like, how can I pull the best out of myself? And I feel like I'm not mentally on top. And my sister said, well, what do you think mom would have thought of that?
Right.
What do you
Right.
think she would have done?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then
And
I
you knew
was
the
like,
answer to that one.
well, she answered it. So she said, I'll tell you what she would have done. She would have sat down and cried her eyes out if she knew you were going to quit like that because of basically her. And I was like, I could see her. I was like, she would be so sad. Like, I gave up everything. So I was like, nah, if I'm going to do something bright,
Do it for her.
I'm going to do it for her. I wasn't going to do it for me because I was crushed. I remember I said to my training partner when we started back up, I said, just so you know, because he's kind of like a jokester and always joking around. And I was like, I just couldn't handle that kind of environment. I said to him, like, no jokes. I said, I'm here to do the work, but I don't want to be here. Like, do you understand? Like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I am here for my mom, and I'm just here to do the work. I'm just a robot right now. Nothing less, nothing more. I'm just going to do the work. That's
He
it.
understood, right?
Yeah, he totally understood. Totally, he was just there to support me, and that's it. It's just, I was so down, so I just couldn't just run around and do as if nothing happened. You know what I mean? I was really
You're going through a
grieving.
tragic time in your life.
Yeah, I was grieving so hard, so I was like, I'm just here to do the work for my mom, and I was like, I'm gonna compete for mom, and no matter what, it didn't matter. Myself, it didn't matter. I did it for her. I wanted to, like, this was my last honor to her, and that was to compete and hopefully win to make her proud.
And how did it turn out?
Well, I won the Tampa Pro, and then 5 weeks later, I won the Rising Phoenix World Championship.
I think it worked out. I think we have a new spark here.
So, I just want to say that, just go to show that, whatever trauma or difficult things we experience in life, there is no such thing as like the perfect competition prep or the perfect time or whatever,
Or the perfect anything.
No, you just make it fucking work,
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it. You make it work.
Tell me, Team Evolution.
That is my team.
I understand that.
So actually, Team Evolution got a new name, Team Trevino now.
Okay.
That was the old name. So Team Trevino is my coaching team. So I coach athletes for competition. I also help people lose weight, get in shape,
Oh.
build muscle, whatever their goal is. So that's basically my day job.
Kind of like Mendelsohn Strength Systems.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
We have a lot in common.
So yeah,
You
we
know
do,
what I mean?
we do. So it's basically designing plans for people. So the cool thing about online training is like you don't have to be based in LA where I am.
Yeah.
You can be in Denver or Israel or Germany. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I create all the plans, training, cardio, diet.
So you have clients all over the world.
I do.
So do I.
I do actually.
I do as well
yeah,
too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they check in with me. It's like, it's all about aesthetics. So they check in with me every week with photos,
Right.
measurements, weights.
Right.
We discuss how the week went, stuff like that.
You can form a relationship with them.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So,
Yeah, I actually like the online training. I enjoy it, and I had one guy in Australia in Tasmania that I never met him. His name's Shannon Jacobson.
mm-hmm.
I trained him for 8 months, and he won the Arnold.
Wow.
And I never met him.
Right.
It was awesome.
Many of my clients, I never met them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but you know them.
You don't need.
Like you know them.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty with technology.
Absolutely,
Today,
I love
like,
it. I love it.
I mean, I have sometimes athletes that request me to help them pose, and they buy some posing sessions with me, and we can go on WhatsApp or Skype or whatever on the camera, and we practice the posing. I have them send me videos of their training. If there's exercises they have problems with, I'm like, send me a video, I'll check your technique,
I do the same exact
So,
thing.
yeah, we do WhatsApp calls.
Yeah, I do it all the time. And WhatsApp is free. So it's cool video calling, and it's pretty.
Yeah, all over the world.
Pretty good. Yeah.
So it's really about just, having the right tools and having a mentor who can guide you and motivate you. And you don't need to sit in an apartment to do that.
Yeah. So, this Hellcat Red Eye you got, want to tell us how you got it?
I kind of want it.
Tell us a little bit about that. This woman has a sick-ass Dodge Red Eye.
And he has plans with it.
I do. I have a sick-ass. So we're going to see. It's going to be awesome.
Well, something that Wings of Strength also did for the sport is like they went and said, we don't think the women are really awarded how they deserve to. So they upped the prize money. So when the Olympia was there back in 2013-14, I think the prize money for the win was $20,000.
Right.
So Wings of Strength said, we're going to put it up for the Rising Phoenix for $50,000 and a $100,000 car. So I won the Hellcat Red Eye last time, and then the 50 grand.
And by the way,
that was nice.
When she pulled up, and I have seen this thing at Gold's for
at a parking lot.
We both park in the same parking lot, and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, that is a sick ass car. I was like, man.
And I pulled up, and he was like, "Is that your car?"
Yeah,
I've seen it.
I know.
Is that really yours?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I was excited. I was like,
steal
whoa.
It.
I was gonna buy a Red Eye.
Oh yeah.
And
it's a sick car though.
It's amazing. But at the time, it hadn't come out yet, and I just tried the regular Hellcat, and I didn't like the way it handled, because the Red Eye handles, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The Hellcat is it's a straight line car, you know what I mean? So I didn't buy it, and I just couldn't wait until the Red Eye came out. So I ended up with a Camaro. And then I ended up building it myself. And
I might let you drive my Red Eye.
Honey, I've been waiting for you to ask me that all night long.
I knew that.
You have no idea how bad I want her Red Eye. So is there anything you want to promote or, talk about that we haven't gone over that could help you with exposure, since we're on here and, the entire world is watching?
Well, I want you all to go to my social media, Facebook, Instagram. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that.
And what's your YouTube channel? What is it called?
Helle Trevino. Everything is Helle Trevino. TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's all Helle Trevino. So please go and subscribe and follow. That way you can also follow my journey to the Rising Phoenix and the Olympia this year. My diet is going to start about 20 weeks out, which is going to be mid-April. And I'm going to be documenting everything as we go. Throwing up progress pictures, training videos. That's something that I'm already doing. I film my workouts on a daily basis, throw it up on story on Instagram and on Facebook, and that way you guys can see a little bit about
Does that mean
how
when we train, I'll be on your story?
you might.
All
You
right.
probably will.
I like it.
So, I like to share knowledge and kind of open my world up a little bit for people that don't really know, like, how's the life of a pro, So I try to film as much as possible, some training, some cooking, some tips on, like, if you want to live a little healthier, like how it can be done, with, a few easy steps. Like, usually if I cook and stuff, it's pretty simple but tasty. My trainings, I explain the technique and stuff, so it's actually also educational. So yeah, so follow, and also I want to say thank you to you, Scott,
Thank
for
you.
inviting me.
My absolute pleasure.
I'm very
I
happy
begged
to
her to
be
come
here.
on, all right? It took weeks, and finally she was like, all right, how much? How much?
So he bribed me with sushi.
Yeah,
I
you know
love
what I mean?
that. I'm like, all right, if there's food, I'm coming.
That's right.
You can always bribe a bodybuilder or a powerlifter with
With
food,
sushi,
right?
with food, absolutely.
So yeah, and I want to thank also Wings of Strength for all they're doing for the sport. Go follow them as well. Wings of Strength on Instagram. You can keep yourself updated on the shows and stuff, like what's going on in sport.
And then, oh
And
yeah, Jake, Mr. Jake Wood, I would love to have you on my podcast. I think you've done great things for the women, and now you have the Olympia, so I'm sure we could have a blast, and I could bribe you with a meal as well.
he
So,
freaking bought it. He
yeah,
bought the Olympia, so it's like,
yeah, I would love to have him
it's
on.
gonna be great.
That would be so fun.
I can't
So,
wait also to see, like, I mean, they've been treating us women like absolutely
the way you should be
as
treated.
queens, as
Yeah,
I will say, as queens. All the
that's
shows,
what you
like,
guys are.
I've really felt like, after their shows, like at every show, I really felt like a pro. Like how a pro should be treated. Like everything was available.
You mean like
Um,
not just for the men?
yes. Yeah, I mean, I've been competing a long time, and I've been feeling there has been like some gender equality that wasn't quite there. I mean, also with an Olympia where the men win $400,000, and then when the Olympia was on last time, it was $20,000 for the women. It's like
No, that's wrong.
you don't feel like the work is appreciated.
Yeah,
I train just as hard. I
yeah,
mean, I probably even do more cardio than guys. Like,
yeah.
my days are long. I do yoga, I do swimming, I do all kind of stuff to get in shape. I mean, it's hard with like a woman's body just want to hold on to that fat. So it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is not fair,
Yeah.
and I think they're helping to close that gap. We don't know yet what the prize money is going to be for the Olympia, but I'm sure they're gonna do something there also. Just small things like picking us up at the airport, making sure we get to the hotel safe. There's always good information on everything.
Hmm.
Like there's a guy backstage that's like all the time looking out for you. He know what number you have. He know when you're gonna go to the stage. He's make sure you are there. It's really
The
like
little things that make a difference.
the little things that really make a difference. There's microwaves for us at the hotel to heat our food.
Yeah,
It's just it makes a difference.
totally, totally.
So, thank you for Wings of Strength and IFBB that you're making this possible. And I want to thank also my sponsors. SenFit app, that's the app that I'm using for my coaching clients. I have my eyelash extensions, my suit maker, Brilliant Bikinis. She's actually sponsoring all my suits this year.
Very cool.
I already got the first one, and I'm getting another
You
4.
should have brought it. I wanted to see it. You could have showed everybody.
Well,
Surprise.
we have to have something for next time also.
Right.
So, so yeah, so I just want to thank everybody who's been supporting me and who's continuing to believe in me Also the fans, the fans is like,
Hey, we'd be
they're
nothing
loyal,
without
man.
them.
Without fans, that wouldn't be a sport. So thank you guys. We really appreciate your support.
Hey, you have no idea how much we appreciate you guys. I mean, there's a lot of athletes that are assholes when you walk up, and you know, you got to understand. There's always a time when they're in the middle of competing. They're not going to be the nicest because they're on a mission. Just hit them up afterwards, and they'll be glad to talk to you. We love you guys, and
I'm always like when I diet, I always
it's
say,
tough.
and I try also to educate, my athletes on that. I always say, it's it's nobody's fault that you're dieting. It's your decision. It's your choice. So, you know, try and just smile, like try and just
Yeah,
be polite,
yeah,
because these are the people that buy the tickets to go see your show
absolutely.
or maybe buy your merchandise
Yeah,
on online, so it's really the fans that keep the sport alive.
yeah.
So I try to always be nice, take a picture. If I'm in prep and they come in the middle of my training, maybe I'll say, what, I'm in the middle of the training, let's talk after, or we can take a quick picture, but if you have questions,
Yeah.
let's take it after my training.
But remember,
You can
there's
always.
there's always that moment because we're human to where they're about to get on stage or I'm about to hit a lift or and your mind is in that zone.
Yeah.
there's no there's some points to where you can't be nice.
Yeah.
It's just that moment of total absorption in
Yeah.
order to be the best in the world.
Yeah. I'll say that like a good advice to the fans, try and not hit the athletes up right before they walk on stage. Like,
Yeah.
we're like super focused. Like that's all we have our focus on. After the show, I'm always like, you know what? I'll take all the photos in the world,
Absolutely.
but the first couple of days before the show, I'm like super locked in and super focused, and maybe I'm nervous and whatnot, so I don't have the capacity for a lot of.
You a real nervous person before the show? I throw up before I can go.
Really?
I and every time I look at myself and I'm like, okay, today is gonna be okay.
Right.
And then like I'm sitting there ready, and all of a sudden one of my team guys come up and put a trash can down, and I'm like, and it's I can't hold it.
I'll say I'm nervous, but I have taught myself how to deal with that. And for me, it's really important to have somebody calm. Like I've tried to like say have a boyfriend with me that was like more nervous than me. Like, and if I get a
Doesn't
little
work.
snippy and I'm like, yo, I need that meal now, like now, like five
Yeah.
minutes ago,
No.
and he'd be like, ooh, and start arguing with me, then everything like go to hell,
Yeah,
So
right.
I know, like, what's important for me is I have to have somebody that's super calm. I
Yeah.
remember, I think it was last year actually, something went wrong with the makeup. So I'm getting ready to go on stage to the finals, and it's like, if you're not on stage, you just you're just not on stage, and
Yeah.
it's like they just pull you out, like you're just gone. You're not gonna get placing. So I was going to the makeup girl that was gonna like freshen me up with the hair and the makeup. You get a touch
Yeah.
over,
Yeah.
and my understanding was she would be there right until the show would start. And when I came down there, she was gone. And I called her and she's like, oh, I went to lunch. I'm like in town. Like, and I was like going on stage in like 15 minutes,
Oh
20
shit.
minutes, you know. And I was like,
What are you gonna do?
I was starting to like,
No.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are we gonna do? And who's gonna do my makeup? And I can't go on stage like this. I slept on my hair and I slept on my makeup and my lash looks weird. And I was like starting to get like some kind of anxiety attack because the stress and the time pressure.
Yeah.
And my friend Jessica, she just took my hand and she was like, don't worry about it. It will be fine. Everything will be fine. Trust me. We're going to go to your room now. And she kept talking like in a very quiet voice and holding my hand while we walked to. She said, we're going to fix your makeup. don't worry about it. You know,
She hooked you up?
You know you have makeup up there, and you know I'll help you. And we went there, and she did the thing and brushed my hair, and we made it, and we were back, and everything was.
You were like, oh my God.
You know, just somebody calm who's like, you know what? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to think about this. I got you.
She was your angel.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
You know, that's all you need.
Yeah. That's.
So yes, you know, I'm nervous, but if I have the right people around me, I'm cool.
Yeah.
You know, but if they make me nervous, everything goes to hell.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, my team is a really good bunch of girls and guys that just, you know, sometimes I scream. And you know what? It's funny. I'll be online, and you know, my guys can scream at me. You know what I mean? I don't care. It's a team. You know.
Right.
I mean, not when I'm lifting. When they're lifting, you know, they go nuts. I'm cool with it. And I got these people online, and they're like, you know, you're a real asshole. And I'm like, well, you know, I am an asshole, but only when I'm under 1,000 pounds or 1,050 pounds. You know, like a few weeks ago, one of my guys who I'm looking at right now, I was getting ready. He was a new guy on my side spot, and it was like 1,025 pounds or something, and it just came out like that, you know. So we racked it up, and you know, you're in the middle of hell moment, and you're like, it was wrong. This is what needs to happen. Blah 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 blah, and then we fixed it. I go online the next day when the lift was posted. They were ripping me a new ass. They're like, you are such a dick, and how can you blah 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 blah? And I was like, and I explained, and a few guys got on, and they were like, dude, do you realize what's going on at that moment? Mm-hmm. You know, and then I got on and I explained. I go, look, yeah, I was an asshole, but it's okay. We can do that. That's what a team is.
We know each other.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're under pressure, you know, you're under pressure.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and it's like you're different when you're under pressure.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, you get better at dealing with it, but still, like.
I still puke. She gets better at it. But guys,
I'm lucky to have the right people around me.
That's right. That's right.
They make me mellow.
But guys, as far as me, you know, my social media, Mendy's Gym on Facebook, Scot Mendelson on Facebook. It was Big Mendy on IG, but we've now changed it to it's all Scot Mendelson. So do that. The Scot Mendelson channel, which we might even change to Scot Mendelson soon. We'll see what's up with that. And, you know, if you guys got any questions or whatever, you can, you know, email me at mendysgym@gmail.com. I would be glad to answer any of your questions. And, you know, it's just a great business that we're in, a great sport that we're all in. And, you know, she's a bodybuilder, I'm a powerlifter. It's the lifting industry, and that's what it's all about. Brothers and sisters that are there for each other,
inspiring each other,
driving each other, and it's all about having a great life. I have an amazing life. I have amazing friends,
Mwah.
and you know, I'm in a happy place. You know, I'm about to jump back on the platform, and you know what? I'm gonna smash everybody's shit. So
we're gonna smash.
We are
shit.
coming for you,
people.
For you. All right. So, Helle, thanks so much for coming on here.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, and thank you for dinner.
Come on, anytime, anytime. You know, and after the O and everything happens, I'd like to have you back on. So, or even before that, and we're gonna do some workouts and stuff, guys. So you'll be seeing more of the Helle and Scot show.
Yeah, we should definitely post some workout stuff for the guys. Right?
Absolutely.
And maybe we'll have a little car show.
That would be cool. We got some stuff coming up, people. We love you. Have a wonderful night, and thank you for tuning in, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you guys.
Love you.